Hi, I'm Erin. I'm in 6th grade and I'm interviewing Kelsey, who used to go to B'nai Shalom. What was it like at B'nai Shalom?
B'nai Shalom was a lot different than it is today. Just from walking in, I haven't been here in a while, but the technology since I came has just, grown, I guess, with the technology of the United States. But B'nai Shalom was a great place to grow up. I still have friends that I went to school with when I was in preschool. It was a great atmosphere to learn in.
And do you think that being at B'nai Shalom helped you?
I do. I think, I think being at B'nai Shalom gave me a base that kind of allowed me to go outside of my comfort zone. It gave me a great education and kind of a great circle of friends who supported me when I decided to go abroad and decided to kind of take the path less traveled. This is a map of Zambia. So Lusaka is the capital, and Zambia is broken up into provinces, a lot like where the United States has states, they have provinces. So I was in Luapula province up here, and Mansa is the capital of Luapula, and I was about 40 kilometers east on a dirt road from the capital. So how did you all get to school this morning? Okay, so we didn't have cars. I had a bicycle that Peace Corps gave me, and so anytime I needed to get to work, to other villages, to Mansa, which is the provincial capital, I would bike about 40 kilometers, which is about 20 some miles.
What did you like about being there?
I liked the simplicity of life. I showed you the picture of just my backyard and blue skies and grass, and it was a simpler, kind of slower life, but I think that I was really able to appreciate things more because of that. You appreciate the little things, and it makes you thankful for everything that you have back here in the States. So it teaches you, so many life lessons.
Was there anything that maybe you missed about America or didn't like about being there?
I missed the food. The food in Zambia was very bland. So I missed some of, my favorite foods from America. I missed being able to talk to my family and my friends a little easier. It wasn't as easy to communicate with them. But those things are kind of little, and you kind of get used to them after a while. So by the end of 2 years, your life there just seems like normal life rather than something so different from America. Anywhere that Peace Corps is in Zambia, they have provincial houses, they call them. So Peace Corps had a house in Mansa that I could go to 4 days out of the month, and I could use internet, I could take a hot shower, I could cook, there was a refrigerator. So it's not as bad as it seems. But in my village, I didn't have internet, and to get cell phone reception, I had to stand on a small dirt mound about, 20 feet from my hut and stand in a specific spot.
What were the people like there?
The people were amazing. The people are some of the most hospitable, generous, loving people I've ever met. I came in as an outsider, and they just welcomed me with open arms. They would cook meals for me. They would let me hold their children. They would, make sure that everything was okay and that I was safe and happy. And they really just come from a very genuine, loving kind of culture. Dance is very big in Zambia. They love to dance and they love to drum. So anytime we would have a celebration, we would have a big drum circle. All of the women would dance, all of the children would dance. Dancing's definitely very big there. Soccer is also very big. Like in a lot of places, we had a football, they call it football, a football team in my village, and so every week the entire village would come out and watch them play, the village over. But they also get creative. The kids there have to be creative. So I have a picture of one of my kids that one day came to my hut and had a little grasshopper on a string, and it was like his pet for the day. And he would just, walk the grasshopper everywhere. So they're really creative.
What was it like being Jewish there?
It's a good question. Being Jewish there was was great. They really didn't know what Judaism was, so a lot of my time there was being a teacher, trying to teach them about the differences between Judaism and Christianity and the similarities and kind of where they split off. I had to be creative in terms of celebrating holidays and things like that. My Peace Corps family and other volunteers that had come from the States were really helpful in helping me celebrate, and you know, we would cook challah at our provincial house, or my mom would send over matzah for Passover, and you know, you would figure it out. But it was, I think you just had to get a little more creative with it. So, but I felt completely comfortable and safe talking about it and, you know, really teaching about it while I was there.
What's the education like in Zambia?
So the education is quite minimal. Most people stop at around 7th grade if they're lucky. Girls sometimes drop out earlier than that to help with the families. Even though school is free, they all wear uniforms to school, and they need books, and some families can't afford that. So if the children weren't in school, a lot of times they were at my house, honestly, playing with the balls or coloring, or we would try and do some games to teach them English. But a lot of them are helping out at home. If they're of age to, I had another picture of children carrying babies. So it's really common there to see a 4-year-old kid carrying a newborn on his back.
What type of service projects, if any, did you do at B'nai Shalom?
I always remember doing service projects at B'nai Shalom. I just remember Tikkun Olam from a young age kind of being something that I really identified with Judaism, and that B'nai Shalom took advantage of. I just remember having service days where we would go out and, you know, do different service projects in the community. And I just kind of felt like it was kind of expected. And I really appreciated that. And I think that also it kind of sparked that the Tikkun Olam and the repairing the world and kind of giving back to the world was something that I thought I would enjoy working in the future, and that I have really enjoyed working in ever since. So mine was called the Community Health Improvement Project, and there are 6 major health thrusts that Zambians are, that the Zambian government's focusing on in terms of health, which were these. So it's malaria, tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, safe motherhood, child health and nutrition, and water and sanitation. So when I got to Zambia, I was trained in all of those during those 3 months. And it seems like a lot to be trained in a little amount of time. But because the education level is so low, when you're talking about water and sanitation, you're talking about teaching people to wash their hands with soap, or teaching them to boil their water to chlorinate it before they drink it so it's safe. So it's kind of basic health focuses that because you have to teach them in a very simplistic way. Some of them can't read in their own language, much less in English. So there's a lot of pictures and skits and kind of creative ways to teach about health.
Would you recommend people like me to join the Peace Corps when I get older? And if so, how do you recommend me to get like my parents on board?
So I recommend the Peace Corps for anyone who's interested in serving abroad and getting a really unique experience. So if you were interested, or anyone your age was interested, I would definitely recommend it. It was an opportunity of a lifetime, and something that I've met Peace Corps volunteers that did it in the 60s and 70s and that are still talking about it. In terms of parents, I think that you just have to kind of take it step by step. When I first told my parents I wanted to do it, they were pretty skeptical. It's 2 years in a country they've never heard of. But I think these days, also with technology, it helps a lot. My mom was part of a Peace Corps Parents Facebook group where she got to interact with other parents that had their kids in the Peace Corps, and it was a good support for her. Being over there, she was able to call. We would have to set up an appointment, and I would have to stand on my mound, but she was able to get in touch with me whenever she wanted. So I think that I would just tell them to take it slow with their parents and to slowly open their eyes to other people that have done it. And they're always welcome to talk to my mom if they ever want to.